You lie back into the soft weight of stillness. The air is cool, the room is hushed, and above you, whether hidden by ceiling or sky, the universe breathes in its endlessness. It feels vast, but not empty. It feels like a quilt stretched over you, stitched with threads you cannot see. These threads are not made of cotton or wool. They are made of relationships, quiet bonds tying one particle to another, weaving a fabric that is both delicate and strong. This is the invisible loom, a loom that stretches farther than the eye can travel, farther even than the telescope can reach. At its heart lies a truth that the smallest pieces of the universe are not isolated specks, drifting without care. They are companions, bound in ways that defy ordinary space. Entanglement is this bond, a connection so strange it feels like poetry more than physics, and yet it is physics at its most precise. You imagine two particles born together, like seeds spilling from the same pod. They drift apart on the breath of the cosmos. One may wander east, the other west, one toward the darkness between stars, the other perhaps toward the glow of a galaxy. And yet, no matter how far they roam, their fates remain tied. If one is touched, the other shivers in response. If one is measured, the other reveals its answer instantly, as though distance has been erased. It is tempting to think of it as magic, but here, in the calm rhythm of night, you are invited to see it as music. Two notes struck on different strings, yet vibrating as one chord. A harmony that doesn't need air to carry it, or wires to transmit it. A harmony written into the laws of existence itself. The invisible loom does not tangle, only pairs. Imagine the night sky as a tapestry, each star, each atom, each photon, all threads woven into a design too vast to unfold in one glance. In one corner of this fabric, you live your life grounded on earth. Yet even here, in the stillness of your room, you are connected to motions that began long before you. The atoms in your body hum with the echoes of creation, carrying memories of ancient unions, of entanglements from ages past. To hold this thought is to rest in a paradox. You are small, and yet you are threaded into infinity. You are one person, lying quietly, and yet you are part of a whole that does not break. The loom does not fray because distance stretches. Its strength comes from the strange rule of entanglement, that separation in space does not mean separation in spirit. Close your eyes and picture the loom more clearly. Imagine strands of light crossing and recrossing, weaving through one another like golden filaments. Where two filaments meet, a particle pair is born. Where they part, the thread does not sever, it stretches, carrying with it the secret of their shared origin. You could walk miles, or fly through the sky, or travel galaxies, and still those 2 points would whisper to each other, faster than light, beyond the usual limits of time. What does it mean to live in a universe so threaded? Perhaps it means that distance itself is less important than connection, that the measure of space between things, between stars, between atoms, between people is softer than it seems. You have felt this before. You have thought of someone across the world and felt close, though oceans lay in between. You have held memories of someone gone, and in remembering, they became near again. Entanglement tells you that even in physics, there are bonds that distance cannot erode. The loom is quiet. It hums without sound, It glows without light, and as you imagine it, you may feel a slowing inside yourself. Your breathing falls into rhythm with this woven pattern. Your thoughts loosen, threads unraveling softly, until you are carried by the suggestion that all things, even your own mind, are part of this great tapestry. Scientists once resisted this image. They wanted particles to be independent, little billiard balls bouncing alone. The loom seemed too fanciful, too unbelievable. But experiments whispered differently. Beams of light split in two, then measured, then tested again and again, told the same story. Entanglement is real. The invisible loom is not metaphor only. It is as real as the ground beneath you, though hidden from ordinary sight. You do not need to prove it tonight. You only need to rest in its presence, to imagine yourself gently woven into the fabric. You do not tug on the threads. You do not strain to understand the equations. You only breathe and allow the picture to unfurl, a cloth of connection, an endless weaving. Even the stars above, burning millions of miles away, are not alone. Their light entangles with dust, with air, with eyes. When you look at the night sky, photons from those stars enter your vision. They have traveled, carrying with them tiny secrets of their journey. In seeing them, you participate in the fabric. The loom draws you in, one more knot, one more crossing of threads. As you lie in this awareness, you begin to feel the subtle comfort of belonging. You are not a drifting particle, lost in void. You are part of the weave, a pattern shaped by countless connections. The story of entanglement is not only about physics. It is about presence, about relation, about the deep truth that nothing exists fully apart. This is the beginning of your journey. You will follow the loom through many chapters, watching its threads become stories of twins, of spins, of galaxies. For now, you rest in the opening image, the loom stretched wide, threads gleaming faintly in the cosmic dark. Threads carrying whispers between particles, across space, across silence. And as the threads hum, you wonder if particles can remain bound across distance. What more might unfold when we listen closer? When we follow the story of a pair born together, drifting but never apart. Imagine a moment when the universe takes a single breath, and from that breath, two sparks appear. They are twins, not in flesh and blood, but in light and motion. Born together, they share a beginning so intimate. This is the story of a pair, an entangled duet, drifting into the great expanse, yet never losing their connection. You let the image settle in your mind. Two glowing beads of light, side by side, warm with their shared origin. Slowly, softly, they drift apart. One moves to the left, the other to the right. Soon, they are no longer neighbors, no longer close enough to touch. Yet their bond does not break. It stretches, invisible yet unyielding, like a golden thread spun from the heart of the cosmos. This bond is not like a rope you can cut, not like a string that frays. It is deeper, quieter, the memory of their shared birth etched into the very structure of their being. To change one is to stir the other, even if oceans of distance stand between. You pause, breathing in this image. You know what it feels like to be tied to another. Perhaps a family member, perhaps a friend, perhaps someone whose absence has not erased their closeness. The story of entangled twins is a reminder. Distance is not the end of relationship. It is simply a new shape of connection. Scientists describe it with careful words, words like superposition and correlation. But for you, tonight, it is enough to picture the bond as a friendship written in starlight. If one twin particle is nudged, the other reacts. If one chooses a path, the other mirrors or complements it. They do not speak, they do not send signals, they simply are, together, in a state of unity that ignores the ordinary rules of space. It is a comforting paradox. You see them separate, and yet they remain one. Like two notes struck on a piano, their sound lingers, blending until you cannot tell which vibration belongs to which. The music they create is whole, even though the notes are played apart. The beauty of these pairs is not only their physics, but their story. They show you that the world is not built from solitary pieces, but from relationships. Every atom in your body is born of connection. Electrons paired with protons, molecules bonded into chains, cells woven into tissue. The universe itself is a history of unions, of things born together, carried apart, yet forever remembering their origin. You picture the twin particles again. One drifts perhaps into the shadow of a planet. The other might sail past the glow of a distant star. Their paths diverge, their journeys unique, yet the golden thread holds steady. Imagine following them, traveling with one across the emptiness. Even when galaxies rise between you, the bond remains. Einstein once looked at this mystery and frowned. To him, it felt unsettling, too strange to fit into the neat framework of reality. He called it spooky action at a distance, as if even his brilliant mind could not reconcile the closeness of things so far apart. But perhaps that is the wonder, that even in physics, the universe allows for intimacy without proximity, for togetherness without touch. As you listen, you might feel the slow comfort of that truth within yourself. You are not alone in the great sweep of space. You are joined by threads unseen, threads that stretch from your heart to the people you love, to the atoms around you, to the cosmos itself. The pair of particles is not just their story. It is a mirror of your own belonging. In this thought, there is a quiet peace. If something so small, so fragile as a particle, can carry its twin within its essence, then surely you to carry the imprint of those you have shared beginnings with, your family, your friends, the voices that once laughed beside you. They leave echoes woven into your being. Just as the twin particles cannot shed their bond, you too are shaped and sustained by connections that travel with you. No matter where you go, time feels slower as you linger with this image. You imagine your own life as a ripple from a shared beginning, like the twin sparks of entanglement. Your existence is not solitary. It is threaded with others, a constellation of relationships spreading outward like a star's light. And so you drift deeper into the story of these twins. Their journey continues even now, as if you could follow them endlessly, tracing their paths across the loom introduced before. Yet, no matter how far they go, their connection remains an anchor, unseen yet unbreakable. You breathe with this rhythm, inhale, exhale, two motions bound together, like the particles themselves. Their togetherness becomes your calm. Their unity becomes your rest. But what is it that binds them so strongly? What is the secret of their invisible handshake? The answer is not yet yours to grasp fully. For now, it is enough to know that they are linked, born as one, living as two, yet behaving always as partners in a hidden dance. As the chapter softens toward its close, you hold on to the gentle curiosity they leave behind. If particles can be born together and remain forever linked, perhaps their dance holds deeper mysteries. What hidden language do they use? How do they coordinate across silence, across emptiness, across space itself? You let that question carry you like a tide pulling you toward the next shore, because the story is not finished. Ahead lies the secret choreography of their movements, the mysterious rhythm of spin, a language so quiet and yet so precise that it shapes the way these pairs whisper to one another across the dark. Two particles, born together, drift apart. You have followed them from their shared beginning, their invisible thread stretched across space. Now, as you look closer, you see not just their connection, but their choreography, the way they spin. Spin is a word that tempts you to imagine tiny spheres whirling like tops, turning on miniature axes in the dark. That picture is simple, and for tonight it is enough. What matters most is the rhythm. One turns left, the other right. One points up, the other down. Their motions, opposite yet aligned, are the secret gestures of their bond. You imagine them like dancers, two partners facing one another, one stepping forward while the other steps back, one lifting an arm while the other lowers theirs. Alone, each move seems incomplete. Together, they form a whole. Their spin is not noise, but dialogue, not chaos, but symmetry. And this symmetry whispers across the vastness. If you glance at one particle and find it spinning left, you know instantly the other must spin right. If you measure one pointing up, the other is revealed pointing down. It is as though they carry within themselves an agreement, a pact made at birth. Wherever we travel, however far we go, we remain opposites, two halves of one circle. This agreement is not exchanged in words. It is not carried on a signal, not whispered through the air. It is simply there, woven into the nature of their being. Scientists call this quantum spin correlation. Tonight, you may call it their silent language. Close your eyes and picture the two dancers. They move in silence, yet the silence itself speaks. Their steps are matched, not because they watch each other, but because the music of their origin still echoes in them. They cannot forget the melody that began their dance. You rest with this thought, feeling your own body as part of a rhythm. Your breath rises, your breath falls. Your heart beats, your blood flows. Within you, countless particles spin, their orientations weaving the balance that allows you to be. You are not separate from this dance. You are a dancer within it. Spin is subtle. It is not like the whirling of planets, not like the turning of wheels. It is a property, a flavor, a quiet marker of identity. Yet it shapes the way particles behave. Electrons, for example, obey a rule of companionship. No two can sit in the same place with the same spin. They must pair as opposites, one up, one down. This is why atoms have structure, why matter is stable, why the universe has the form it does. You might think of it as a rule of harmony. Too many voices singing the same note create dissonance, but when one sings high and the other low, the harmony deepens. Spin is the rule that enforces this balance, ensuring that matter is not chaos but chorus. As you drift deeper into this chapter, you imagine your own life in terms of spin. There are moments when you turn inward and moments when you turn outward, times when you move left and times when you move right. Each motion finds balance when paired with its complement. You are not whole by standing alone in one direction. You are whole when you allow the countermotion to complete the circle. The twin particles remind you of this. Their opposite spins are not conflict, but completion. Each needs the other's direction to make sense of its own. Alone, they would be half dances. Together, they are choreography. You feel the calmness of this realization seep into you. It is not about struggle. It is about balance. Where there is up, there is down. Where there is left, there is right. Where there is you, there is relation. The silence of their language invites you to listen, not with your ears, but with your imagination. You hear not words, but rhythm, not voices, but turns. It is a lullaby written in opposites, a lullaby you can rest within. Scientists puzzle over how this correlation survives. How can one particle know what the other will show, even when light years apart? Some wonder if the answer lies beyond our ordinary view of space. Perhaps they are not truly separate at all, but part of one larger whole, like two hands belonging to the same body. When one hand closes, the other opens, not because they send signals, but because the body itself moves them in harmony. Whether this picture is literal or only a metaphor, it leaves you with a sense of wonder. The universe is not a scattering of unrelated fragments. It is a whole, and spin is one way it reminds you of its unity. The dancers twirl on, their motions unseen but eternal. They spin in silence, yet their silence is not empty. It is full of meaning, full of relation, full of the poetry of balance. You drift with them, letting your thoughts slow to their rhythm, letting your mind ease into their symmetry. The night feels softer now. The story of spin has not demanded effort from you, only listening. And in listening, you have entered the rhythm of the cosmos itself, where opposites fold into one another, where harmony is written into the smallest of things. As the chapter draws toward its close, you notice the question it leaves behind. If spin is the silent language, what does it mean that distance cannot silence it? How can a particle whisper to its partner across endless space, as though space itself is not a barrier at all? This is the doorway that opens ahead. You step gently toward it, carried by the thought that perhaps distance is an illusion and connection is deeper than separation. In the next chapter, you will follow this thought into the mystery of how distance can exist and yet not divide. The two particles spin in their silent dance. You have watched them turn as mirrors, one to the left, the other to the right, partners in a choreography written at birth. Now you let your gaze widen. The dancers drift apart, pulled by currents of space, carried on the flow of the universe's expansion. They recede from one another and from you, until distance seems immeasurable. Yet the thread does not break. This is the great paradox of entanglement. No matter how far the twins travel, their bond persists. The language of spin is not drowned by space, not slowed by light years, not silenced by separation. Distance, it seems, is less important than relation. You pause here and breathe in the stillness of this thought. How often has distance in your own life felt like absence? How often has space between you and another seemed like loss? But here, in the quiet rhythm of physics, you are shown another possibility. Distance may be real, yet closeness can remain untouched. Picture the earth beneath you, spinning its slow circle. Around it, satellites orbit. They send signals across oceans in fractions of a second. You know this technology well, your messages, your calls, your maps guided by the whispers of machines. But entangled particles whisper without any signal at all. One is measured here, the other reveals its answer there, as if the space between them does not exist. It is unsettling and comforting all at once. Unsettling because it challenges the rules you thought were fixed. Comforting because it suggests that connection is deeper than barriers. Imagine yourself standing on a shore, watching a friend sail away across the horizon. They grow smaller, then vanish from sight. The water stretches between you, miles of separation. Yet, if your bond is true, you know they are not gone. You feel them still, tied by invisible strands of memory, care, love. Entangled particles are a reminder of this same truth, written not only in human hearts, but in the very laws of physics. Scientists measure the effect again and again, splitting light into twins, sending them along different paths, even locking them in separate laboratories miles apart. They test their spins, their polarizations, their subtle properties. Always the same result. The outcomes remain correlated. Always the same whisper. Distance cannot undo what was written in their origin. You drift deeper into this image. Perhaps you imagine yourself as one of the twins, set adrift into the cosmos. The other particle is far away, maybe too far to ever see again. Yet your fates are joined. Whatever you reveal, the other responds. Whatever direction you turn, the other balances. You are not alone, not even in the infinite dark. The night sky above you becomes a metaphor for this. Stars gleam like scattered jewels, separated by light years upon light years. To your eyes, they appear isolated, yet many of them are paired, orbiting companions. Some are triplets, quartets, whole families of suns bound together by gravity's unseen embrace. Even in the most distant galaxies, stars form webs of relation, clustering and spiraling, their distances unable to erase their bonds. So it is with particles, but on an even deeper level. Gravity is not their tether. Light is not their messenger. Their connection is written into their being, carried with them wherever they go. You breathe with this realization. Your own body carries echoes of such distances. The calcium in your bones was forged in stars long gone. The oxygen you inhale has traveled through trees, oceans, and clouds before entering your lungs. Even now, you are connected across centuries, across worlds. You are the outcome of distances that never broke the chain of relation. As you lie in the comfort of this thought, you may feel the tightness of separation ease. The people you love, even if far, are not absent from your life. Their presence lives in your memory, in your imagination, in the marks they leave upon your being. Entanglement becomes a metaphor you can rest inside, a reminder that connection outlasts the space between. For Einstein, this was a puzzle that pressed against the boundaries of reason. How could something here affect something there instantly, when even light takes time to travel? He could not reconcile it with his picture of the universe. But the experiments do not lie. Reality is stranger than even the greatest minds expect. Yet, As you listen, you do not need to wrestle with equations or debates. You need only drift into the picture of a bond stretched across the dark, unbroken, unbreakable. Let the image soothe you, 2 points glowing faintly, far apart, yet shining with a shared rhythm. Distance does not silence their song, and so you two are invited to rest in this rhythm, to breathe slowly, as though your inhale were here and your exhale were there, both parts of the same breath, to feel your heart beating and to imagine its echo felt elsewhere through invisible strands, to trust that connection is not undone by miles or moments. The night itself becomes a teacher. The moon rises, distant yet close, its light touching you across space. The stars scatter, but their light enters your eyes, crossing unimaginable distances to find you. Separation and closeness fold into each other, as though the universe wants you to know, distance is not the opposite of connection. It is simply its stage. Let yourself float in this paradox. You are both here and there. You are both solitary and entangled. You are both one and part of many. The particles teach you that the universe does not always obey your ordinary sense of nearness. It holds a deeper law. What is born together remains together. No matter how far apart it drifts, your thoughts may wander now to the bonds in your own life. People who have left, people who are far away, people whose presence is felt even when unseen. Perhaps you smile, remembering that separation does not erase what was shared. You carry their imprint like entangled twins carry their origin, an invisible thread, unbroken. The story of distance without separation is not finished. It leads into deeper questions, into mysteries that unfold like petals. How can measurement itself change what is revealed? How can looking at one twin alter the dance for both? These are the puzzles that lie ahead. But for now, you rest here in the vastness. You lie within the loom, threads stretching across galaxies, threads carrying whispers between twins of light. The threads do not slacken, they do not snap, they shimmer softly, eternal bridges across the emptiness. And as you drift toward sleep, you feel their comfort surround you. You are never fully apart. You are never truly alone. You are always within the web, always held in the tapestry. The two dancers continue their motion, far apart yet forever linked, and you begin to wonder, gently, without urgency, what happens when you try to peek too closely at their secret? What happens when the act of looking changes the story itself? You lie in the soft dark, held by the rhythm of your own breath. The dancers of entanglement remain in your mind, two partners separated yet still united. Their thread is unbroken, their connection alive. And now a new question rises like a moon over the horizon. What happens when you try to look too closely? The veil of measurement begins here. You picture the twins as delicate lanterns glowing in the night. They are steady, balanced, and whole. But the moment you shine a brighter light upon them, asking which way are you turning, they must answer. And in answering, they change. This is the strange rule of the quantum world. Measurement is not a neutral act. It is not like watching waves crash on a shore or seeing clouds float across the sky. To measure a particle is to touch it, to pull it into form. It is to press a question into its silence, and the silence answers only by becoming something definite. You breathe slowly, imagining this. Before measurement, the particle is a cloud of possibility. It is many things at once, a shimmering haze of maybes. After measurement, it becomes one thing only, shedding its other selves like shadows disappearing at dawn. And because the particles are entangled, the act of measuring one affects the other. Even across vast distances, the veil is pulled aside for both. You choose to peek at one twin, and in that instant, the other reveals its truth. As though your question echoed through invisible corridors, you pause here and feel the weight of this. It is not just distance that is challenged. It is the very act of knowing. Think of secrets. When left unspoken, they shimmer with possibility. You may imagine them one way or another, depending on your mood, depending on the silence. But when the words are spoken, the secret becomes fixed, narrowed, undeniable. Quantum particles carry this same quality. Possibility collapses when you look too directly. You close your eyes and imagine a coin spinning in the air. While it spins, you cannot say if it is heads or tails. In your mind, it is both at once. Only when it lands do you see its face. In quantum physics, however, the coin never truly lands until you decide to look. The act of looking itself is what forces the outcome. This idea unsettles many, even today. It suggests that reality is not separate from observation. It suggests that the world is not simply there waiting for you to discover it, but that in some way, the world takes shape in the meeting between what exists and how you look at it. You rest in this paradox. Let your thoughts drift to the way you look at your own life. Sometimes, memories are like clouds. If you do not fix them in place, they remain soft, pliable, able to change in your imagination. But when you dwell on them, when you measure them with focus, they take a sharper form. They can soothe you, or they can weigh you down. Your act of looking shapes them. The veil of measurement is not just physics, it is a mirror. Scientists wrestle with this mirror, testing it through countless experiments. They send photons through slits, watching whether they behave like waves or like particles. They set up detectors, and the very presence of the detector changes the outcome. The world seems to know when it is being watched. You breathe deeply and let the rhythm of this thought settle. The cosmos itself carries awareness, not like a mind, not like thought, but like a fabric that changes under the weight of observation. The veil is delicate. Pull it aside, and the pattern shifts. This does not mean that you create the universe with your eyes alone. It means that at the smallest scales, reality and observation dance together. The story is incomplete without both partners. Imagine walking through a misty forest. Shapes loom ahead, perhaps a deer, perhaps a branch, perhaps nothing at all. Until you move closer, until you focus your gaze, the shapes are uncertain, alive with many possibilities. Your act of looking clears the fog. The quantum world is a forest of endless fog, and measurement is the lantern you carry. Each time you lift the lantern, one path solidifies, and the others fade into shadow. You may find this humbling, you may find it unsettling, but perhaps you also find it soothing, for it suggests that certainty is not the natural state of the world. Mystery is not the exception, it is the rule. The veil of measurement reminds you that not everything is meant to be fixed at once. Some truths belong to possibility until the moment is right to know them. As you rest with this, notice how it changes your sense of self. You too are not fixed, not rigid. You are many possibilities, carried within the haze of time. Each choice you make is a kind of measurement. Each moment of self-awareness is like pulling aside your own veil, revealing one face of your being. And tomorrow, another measurement will come, another possibility. Chosen. Entangled particles live within this rhythm as well. To measure one is to reveal both across any distance. The veil falls in unison, as though they are bound by a secret pact. The mystery deepens here. For if your act of looking can change the outcome, what does that mean for the nature of reality itself? Is the world solid, waiting? Or is it a wave of probabilities awaiting your lantern's light? You are not asked to solve this question tonight. You are asked only to rest inside it, to feel its gentle weight as you drift, to know that mystery is not a threat, but a companion, that the unknown can be as comforting as the known, if you let it be. The veil of measurement teaches patience. It teaches humility. It reminds you that some truths cannot be forced, cannot be ripped into the open without changing their shape. To look is to touch, and to touch is to alter. So sometimes the kindest act is to let things be, to rest in their shimmering haze of possibility. Like a sky of stars before dawn, you let this truth settle into you like a lullaby. Your breath slows. Your body loosens. You float in the thought that the world is not fully fixed, not fully decided, but alive with endless maybes. And the maybes are not frightening. They are soft. They are kind. Beyond this veil lies another mystery, waiting in the next chapter. If the act of looking changes reality, then what does it mean for two particles to respond as one across infinite space? What secret door does this open into the nature of time itself? You drift, curious but calm, toward that question. The night sky spreads above you, endless and serene. Stars shine like lanterns scattered on black velvet, their light taking years, centuries, millennia to reach your eyes. Light is fast, faster than anything you can know in your daily world. Yet here it feels slow. The photons that leave a star when a tree first took root on Earth are only now arriving. You see the past each time you gaze upward, and yet beneath this slow rain of light, quantum entanglement tells another story. Two particles, once joined, can drift apart at unimaginable speed, carried across distance greater than your mind can hold. Light may take ages to bridge that distance, but the particles, they remain connected in an instant. No waiting, no delay. Their whispers outpace the brightest beam. You pause and let this thought ripple through you. The fastest thing you know, light, is not the measure of all things. Something quieter, subtler, outpaces it, not through travel, but through unity. The particles do not send messages. They do not reach across the void. They simply remain one, no matter how far they drift. You imagine holding a pair of bells. Strike one, and the other sings at once, not because a sound has crossed the room, but because, in some deep way, they are the same bell. Entanglement is like this. The twins are not two, not fully. They are a single story told in two voices, and the story continues without delay. Einstein once called this spooky action at a distance. The phrase carries both doubt and wonder. He could not accept that nature allowed such whispers to leap faster than light. To him, it seemed the universe must have hidden instructions, secret notes written inside each particle before they left one another. He believed the outcome must be decided in advance, but the experiments proved otherwise. No hidden notes, no pre-written script. The outcome is alive, revealed only in the moment of measurement, and revealed together. You breathe with this faster than light, yet not a signal, instantaneous, yet not a message, a paradox, soft as a lullaby. Let yourself imagine drifting far into space, past the moon, past the planets, past the glittering rivers of stars. You hold one twin particle close to you, and the other drifts somewhere beyond sight, perhaps on the edge of another galaxy. Still, when you peek at yours, the other reveals itself, as if your glance pulls back a veil across the cosmos. It is a kind of closeness that makes distance irrelevant. The thought soothes you, for in your own life, distance sometimes feels like a barrier. Loved ones far away, memories carried into time, moments that cannot be reached again. Yet here, nature whispers that connection can leap across separation. Bonds can stretch without breaking. Voices can echo without delay. Even as you lie still, you feel your own threads of relation to people, to places, to moments gone. Perhaps they, too, whisper faster than light, not through physics, but through memory, through love, through the invisible fabric of being. The experiments grow more delicate, more daring. Photons separated by miles, even by satellite beams across the sky, still respond instantly. No matter how far, the whisper is the same. Scientists measure again and again, and still, the particles outpace every limit they try to set. But here, tonight, you need no equations. You need only the image. Two sparks, one near, one far, glowing as one flame. A flame that flickers not by distance, but by unity. Let the image ease you into stillness, for light itself can feel restless. It darts, it races, always in motion, never slowing. But the entangled whisper is different. It is not a runner, it is a bond. It does not move through space. It exists beneath space. And so, in your own stillness, you feel a reflection of it. You do not need to run toward connection. You are already there, already bound, already heard. Imagine holding two mirrors facing each other. The reflections stretch into infinity, each image tied to the other. Change one, and the infinite changes at once. This too is the way entanglement whispers, not by distance, but by reflection. The night grows deeper. You feel your body soften into its weight, sinking gently. Thoughts slow to the pace of tides. In this state, you can see how the faster-than-light whisper is not frantic, not loud. It is silent, calm, immediate. Like two hearts beating in rhythm across space. And you, too, have known this rhythm, perhaps in moments where you felt another's presence before a word was spoken. Perhaps in times when you sensed connection beyond distance. These moments are your own entanglement, your own whispers, faster than light. You do not need to prove them. You only need to rest in them. Scientists argue about what it means. Does it bend the rules of causality? Does it challenge the very foundation of space-time? But for you, lying here, it is a comfort. It is the gentle promise that not all distance is loss, that some bonds are deeper than the void between. As you drift further, Let yourself picture the universe as a vast ocean. On its surface, light skims like quicksilver fish, fast and bright. But beneath the surface, in the deep, there is a still current that connects everything at once. Entanglement is that current. It flows not with speed, but with unity. It carries whispers that never fade. The chapter closes gently now. You are held by this thought. The fastest messenger is not speed, but connection. And if connection holds true for particles, perhaps it holds true for you as well. The whispers faster than light will carry you into the next question, one that deepens the mystery. If bonds ignore distance, do they also bend the meaning of time? Time is the rhythm that carries you forward. It is the steady march of days, the turning of clocks, the unfolding of seasons. You feel it in your pulse, in the shadows moving across your room, in the cycles of your own breath. And yet, when you step into the world of entanglement, time becomes less certain. It no longer feels like a river flowing one way. It begins to feel like a web of strands stretched across past, present, and future, all touching one another in silence. You pause, letting this thought settle into your body. Time, the companion you know so well, may not be as straight as it seems. Entangled particles live within this mystery. When one is measured, the other responds instantly, no matter how far apart they may be. But what if they are not only separated in space? What if they are separated in time? Experiments have asked this very question. One particle is measured now, the other later, and still their answers align, as though the future had already whispered into the past. It is as if entanglement does not respect the borders of time, any more than it respects the borders of distance. You close your eyes and imagine a loom. Threads stretch not only across the fabric of space, but through the layers of time. A tug on one thread in the present pulls softly on another thread in the past or in the future. The cloth shimmers. The pattern is continuous. This image soothes you, for so often, time feels like separation. You cannot return to moments you miss. You cannot leap forward into the ones you long for. But here, in the story of entanglement, you glimpse another possibility. Moments may be less divided than you think. Let yourself drift into memory. Picture a time when you felt joy, a time when laughter filled your chest. Notice how easily you can return there, how your body recalls the warmth. That moment is not gone. It lives within you, accessible now, folded into your being in the same way. Perhaps the universe holds past and future not as vanished, but as entwined. The scientists call this quantum correlations across time. They measure one particle now and the other later, and the bond persists. It is not only distance that fails to break the link, but time itself. You breathe with this knowledge, letting it soften your sense of hours and days. What if time is not a line, but a circle? What if it is not a march, but a song, each note connected to the one before, the one after, the one yet to come? The particles whisper that this may be true. You think of music now. A melody does not exist in one note alone. Its beauty is in the relation between notes, past, present, and future tones entwined. The first note carries into the next, and into the one beyond, until the song becomes whole. Entanglement across time is like this, a melody that remains true. No matter which moment you hear, And so you rest in this symphony, carried by its rhythm. Time entwined does not mean you are trapped. It means you are woven. It means each moment is a thread in a larger pattern, part of a design you cannot always see but can always trust the comfort of this. Thought surrounds you. Your worries about yesterday soften, your fears of tomorrow quiet. For in the loom of time, nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Each strand holds its place, even if it is hidden from view. You let yourself float now, drifting between memory and anticipation. Both feel alive, present within you. And perhaps this is what entanglement shows on the smallest scales, that past and future are not so separate from the present. Scientists debate what it means. Does one particle send information backward? Does the future reach out to the past? Or are the categories themselves, past, present, future, only illusions created by your perspective? The arguments go on, but here, in the quiet of night, you do not need answers. You need only the image, threads of time stitched together. The fabric whole. You breathe slowly, as though inhaling not only air, but centuries, as though exhaling not only breath, but futures yet to be. Time becomes a softer thing. It is not a ruler dividing your life into pieces. It is a field, a meadow where moments bloom together. Some blossoms you see now, others wait, unopened. Still others have already scattered their seeds, leaving traces that continue to grow. You lie in this meadow, surrounded by time entwined. Entanglement across time may also remind you of your own continuity. The child you once were is not gone. They live within your body, your memories, your choices. The elder you will become is not distant. They are already taking shape, woven into your actions today. You are more than this moment. You are the whole thread. As you sink deeper into this thought, you may feel less bound by regret, less pulled by anticipation. You are free to rest in the present, because you trust that all moments are held together. The night deepens, and the mystery grows gentle around you. You picture again the twin particles, one in the now, one in the later, yet still bound. Their dance crosses not only space, but the divide of hours. They remind you that connection is not broken by distance, nor by time, and so you breathe into the comfort of permanence within change. Moments may pass, but relation endures. Your own life offers echoes of this. Think of an old photograph. You look at it now, yet it holds an entire moment from years ago. In that image, laughter lives, gestures remain. A sliver of time is preserved. You hold it in your hands, and the past is here again. The photograph is not magic, but your response to it is. Your mind bridges time, entwines now with then. Entanglement suggests the universe itself may carry such photographs, not on paper, but in the very state of matter. The past does not vanish. It leaves traces that stay connected. You rest inside this wonder. Your heart slows. Your body eases. The ticking of clocks seems far away, softened by the lull of eternity. Time entwined is not a problem to be solved. It is a mystery to be trusted, like a tide that carries you where you need to go. You are not separate from your past. You are not cut off from your future. You are woven into them, always. And as you sink further into calm, another thought begins to form. If time itself can bend and fold within entanglement, What does this say about reality as a whole? If distance and time both loosen their grip, what fabric lies beneath them, holding everything together? The question glows softly, like a lantern in the dark. You do not need to answer it now. You need only carry it with you, gently, into the next chapter. You have followed the twins of light across space, across time. You have watched them ignore distance, defy separation, and whisper faster than light. Each chapter has been a step into deeper mystery. Now you pause, held in stillness, and wonder what holds all of this together. The answer is not yet clear. It hides beneath the surface, like roots beneath a meadow. Scientists call it the hidden fabric, the tapestry behind appearances. A place where entanglement is not strange, but natural, where space and time themselves are threads, not foundations. You breathe into this thought. The world you know feels solid. The floor beneath you, the air around you, the rhythm of minutes and hours, they seem like constants. Yet, in physics, they may only be patterns, woven from something deeper, something unseen. Imagine holding a piece of cloth in your hand. To your eye, it is smooth, whole, continuous. But if you lean close, if you bring a magnifying glass, you see the weave. Tiny threads cross and interlace. The smoothness was only an illusion. The truth lies in the woven strands. So it may be with the universe itself. Space may not be empty. Time may not be linear. Both may be woven from threads of relation, threads you cannot yet see. Entanglement is one of the hints of this hidden tapestry. It shows you that the parts of the world are not truly separate. It suggests that what you call distance or later are only appearances, like patterns in cloth. Beneath them lies unity. Beneath them lies the weave. You close your eyes and imagine lying on that cloth. It stretches beneath you like a cosmic quilt. Stars shimmer as beads sewn upon it. Galaxies spiral as embroidered swirls. Between them, invisible threads run, carrying whispers between particles, holding all things in relation. You are not outside this cloth. You are within it, a pattern among patterns, a stitch in the design. This thought softens you, for so often you feel separate, alone, drifting through space and time. But here, in the hidden tapestry, you are always connected, always part of the weave. Your very being is a continuation of threads that stretch beyond sight. Scientists, to search for this fabric. They imagine theories that unite quantum mechanics with relativity, seeking the loom on which the universe is woven. Some speak of quantum fields, others of strings vibrating in hidden dimensions, still others of information itself as the true thread. The language is complex, but the feeling is simple. Beneath appearances lies connection. You do not need equations to rest in this truth. You need only the image of the tapestry, endless and intricate, holding you gently. Let your breath become part of this weave. Each inhale is a thread drawn in. Each exhale is a thread released. Your body is not separate from the fabric. It is woven by it, held by it. The hidden tapestry also exists in your own life. Think of the people who shaped you, the memories that live inside you, the experiences that ripple through your choices even now. You are not only you, you are threads of many lives, many stories. The tapestry of self is hidden, yet always there, and so you rest in comfort. You are never only one. You are always part of something larger, something whole. The tapestry holds mysteries yet unsolved. Perhaps space and time emerge from entanglement itself. Perhaps the threads are not things but relationships, patterns of connection that give rise to all else. Scientists do not yet know, but the hints are enough to let you imagine. You picture the night sky again. Stars seem separate, scattered. But when you imagine the tapestry beneath, you see how they are stitched into one fabric, joined by threads invisible to the eye. And you, lying here, are stitched too, not outside, but within. This hidden tapestry is not something to solve tonight. It is something to rest inside, to feel its quiet presence around you like a blanket. To trust that even if you cannot see the weave, you are held by it always. The chapter slows to its close. You are softer now, looser in your body, lighter in your mind. The fabric cradles you, and you drift as though rocked in its folds. But even here, another question stirs softly, like a breeze moving through the threads. If all is woven, what of choice? What of freedom? Are you a stitch fixed in place, or a thread still weaving? The tapestry whispers, and you drift toward the next mystery. You are lying within the hidden tapestry, feeling its weave beneath you, its threads holding galaxies and whispers of particles alike. You are warm in its embrace, steady in its silence. Yet, as you rest, a question lingers in the folds of the fabric. Does the cloth exist before you look at it, or does your gaze help it appear? This is the question of the observer, and tonight it waits for you. In your ordinary days, you believe the world exists, whether you see it or not. The cup remains on the table, even if you turn away. The stars continue shining, though the sun hides them. The tree stands firm when you leave the forest. This feels certain, but in the quantum world, the rules soften. Here, particles exist, not as fixed things, but as possibilities. They move like poems with many endings, like rivers branching into countless streams. And yet, when measured, when observed, they choose one course, one story. It is called the collapse of the wave function, a phrase that sounds sharp, but it is gentle if you listen. It means that the many possibilities quiet down into one. The way a field of swaying grass falls still in a single direction when the wind passes. And so the question rises, what role do you play? You, the observer, are not outside the story. When you measure, you change what is measured. When you look, the world may become what you look for. It is as though reality waits for your choice, your presence, your attention. This is not a simple matter of sight. It is not that your eyes alone change the universe. It is the act of interaction, the way instruments, experiments, and questions shape what is found. But for you, listening now, it is enough to imagine. Perhaps the universe is a partner, waiting for your gaze to settle, your choice to be made. Breathe into this thought. Your breath itself is observation. Your body exists here, entangled with its surrounding. The air fills your lungs because your body accepts it, measures it, interacts with it. Observation is not only seeing, it is touching, breathing, living. You recall the tapestry. The threads seem endless, but in truth, the pattern you see depends on the light, on the angle, on your focus. Change your gaze, and the shapes shift. The design was always there, but your attention draws out one picture over another. The fabric is not static. It is alive with possibility. Scientists debate this endlessly. Some suggest the observer is central, that consciousness itself plays a role in shaping reality. Others argue that measurement is physical, not mental, that devices and detectors bring the collapse without need of awareness. The arguments flow like rivers, branching, circling, returning again. No final answer rests in your hand, and perhaps that is the gentle truth. You do not need certainty to wonder. You need only the mystery, the invitation. Think of your own life. Choices unfold before you daily. Many paths lie open, but when you choose, a wave of possibility collapses into a single thread. You cannot walk all paths. You live one, and in that way, you mirror the quantum world, potential becoming presence through choice. The thought softens you again, because sometimes you fear choice. You fear making the wrong one, the permanent one. Yet here, the quantum story whispers, all paths were once real, all futures once open. To live at all is to collapse possibility into being. There is no wrong in choosing. The only mistake is refusing to live. Now you feel your own life as part of the great experiment. You, too, are an observer. You, too, are a participant. Your choices ripple like measurements through the fabric, shaping how the pattern appears around you. Close your eyes and imagine a single photon, a particle of light. It moves toward a pair of paths, left or right. Until it is measured, it travels both a ghostly wave across space, but once observed, it chooses. You are like that photon, always on the edge of many futures. And with each breath, each decision you choose, you may wonder, does this mean the universe is unfinished without us? Does it need observers to bring it into being? Or is it simply that our act of looking joins us to its unfolding, making us part of the play? The answers remain hidden, but the wonder is clear. You are not separate from the story of existence. You are not only in the world, you are of it, shaping it gently through your attention. You shift slightly, resting deeper into your place. Around you, the night holds its silence, but within the silence, countless possibilities hum. The stars above, the particles within, the choices of tomorrow, all are fields of potential waiting to become. And you, resting here, are a quiet observer. You collapse some waves by living, by breathing, by noticing. Others remain unopened, sleeping like seeds in the soil. This is not a burden. It is a gift to participate, to be part of the unfolding. Scientists call this the measurement problem. You may call it the mystery of choice. Either way, it is a reminder that life is not rigid. Reality, at its deepest, is fluid, supple, alive with possibility. Let this soften your mind as sleep drifts closer. You are not locked into a single fate. You are woven into a fabric that responds, that moves, that dances with you. The hidden tapestry still stretches beneath you, but now you sense your role within it. Not only a stitch, but a witness to its colors, a hand guiding its pattern. And just as you begin to settle into this truth, another thought glimmers softly at the edge of night. If your gaze shapes reality, then what of memory? What of time's arrow? Can the past, too, be touched by observation? You drift toward that question, carried by curiosity and calm. into the quiet of the next mystery. You are still resting in the fabric of the cosmos, your body held like a stitch, your mind wandering softly. The thought lingers from the chapter before. If your gaze shapes reality in the present, what of the past? What of the future? Does observation ripple backward as well as forward? Time, for you, feels steady. You wake, you walk, you age. The days move like pages turning, always in one direction. This sense of forwardness is so woven into your being that you rarely question it. Yet science asks you to pause, to look closer, to ask, why does time flow? And does it truly flow at all? Begin with a memory, perhaps of a childhood room, perhaps of laughter at a table long gone. The memory feels real, but it is not the moment itself. It is your mind, observing again, stitching the past into the present. In this way, even memory is an act of observation. You bring the past alive each time you recall it. But in physics, time is not always so strict. Einstein showed that time bends, stretches, slows, depending on speed and gravity. Astronauts returning from orbit age differently from those who remained below. The arrow you trust becomes pliant, curving like a river dot. Still, something in the universe insists on direction. Glass shatters, but shards do not leap back into form. Smoke disperses, but does not rejoin. You grow older, not younger. This is the arrow of time, the quiet insistence of entropy, the tendency of order to dissolve into disorder. Entropy is not cruel. It is simply the way patterns change. A sandcastle melts into grains, not because the sea is unkind, but because the possible arrangements of scattered sand are far more numerous than the single shape of a castle. Order is rare, disorder abundant. And so, time leans toward the abundant. You breathe slowly into this truth. Your body, too, is part of this leaning. Cells divide, repair, age. The arrow moves forward in you. Yet, within the seeming inevitability lies beauty. Each wrinkle, each passing day, is the mark of the universe's story flowing through you. Imagine time not as a straight arrow, but as a river. The current carries you gently forward, but within the flow, eddies swirl. In some places, the water slows. In others, it rushes. To you, drifting, the direction feels steady. But if you could rise above, you would see the river's twists, its bends, its restless currents. This is what physics suggests, that the arrow you feel is local, not universal, that in the hidden mathematics, time may not have a preferred direction at all. Past and future may be woven into one fabric, like two sides of the same cloth. Close your eyes and imagine that cloth again. Run your hand across it. You cannot tell which way the threads were laid down. All directions belong equally to the weave. So, too, with the universe. Perhaps the flow of time is not an ultimate truth, but a perspective, a way of moving through the pattern. And yet, within your perspective, the arrow matters deeply. It shapes meaning, story, memory, hope. Without the arrow, there would be no narrative, no sense of before and after. Your life is built upon the trust that the sun will rise, that tomorrow will follow today. So here lies the gentle paradox. Physics suggests time may not be absolute, yet your heart knows it as real. You live within the arrow, even if the arrow is not fundamental. Breathe again. Notice your chest rise, then fall. That rise is past. The fall is present. The pause is future arriving. In this small cycle, you feel the rhythm of time's arrow. It is not frightening, it is soothing, like waves upon a shore. Some scientists wonder if the arrow is born of observation itself, that when you, the observer, look, you collapse not only possibility in space, but also in time. Your observation may carve the difference between past and future. This thought is vast, almost too large to hold, yet you cradle it softly, like a small flame. You turn your mind to the stars. Light travels from them across millions of years, only to reach your eyes now. When you gaze at the night sky, you look into the past. The arrow of time bends here, delivering ancient light into your present. You see not stars as they are, but as they were. The universe gives you both past and present in a single glance, and so you realize, perhaps the arrow is not a wall between then and now. Perhaps it is a bridge, carrying memory forward, carrying light across distance, carrying you into tomorrow. Let this soften you. You are not trapped in the arrow. You are carried by it. You are not fighting time. You are flowing within its current. Think again of your choices, your observations. Each one lands in the fabric like a stitch. The past is the stitches already laid. The future is the threads waiting. You cannot unweave what has been, but you can guide what is yet to come. This is not limitation, it is grace. For within the river of time, you are both passenger and participant. You drift and you steer, and so the arrow becomes less frightening. It is no longer a march toward loss, but a journey of unfolding. Each moment new, each moment another petal in the bloom of your life. You settle deeper. Your body loosens. The arrow of time continues its gentle motion, but you do not resist. You let it carry you, like a boat rocked by soft water. Scientists will continue to ask, does the arrow emerge from entropy alone? Does the universe itself have a beginning and an end? Or is time eternal, circular, layered beyond comprehension? These questions remain. They may always remain. But tonight, you need no final answer. You need only the comfort that you are part of this great river, flowing in rhythm with stars, with galaxies, with every breath. And just as you rest in this river, another thought begins to surface. Quiet but insistent. If time's arrow is born of entropy, what does this mean for endings? For the ultimate fate of the universe itself? The river carries you toward that question, into the silence beyond.